Now at 5, a campaign in Joplin raises awareness of suicide prevention efforts. Plus, Miami tries a new strategy for dealing with stray animals. And
with the midterm elections less than 50 days away, President Biden is sharpening his criticism at MAGA Republicans. I'm Deborah Alfarone at the White House with that and House Republicans' challenge to the president.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is Suicide Awareness Month, and Ozark Center Crisis Services is marking it with its Canvases of Hope. This is KOAM News at 5. That program allows people in Joplin to create canvases sharing their messages of hope and stories of survival. The Ozark Center made 5 stops today. In addition to the art opportunity, crisis counselors were there providing resources.
Since 2019, we've lost 5 times the amount of people to suicide than we have alcohol-related car accidents. And we want to make sure we're trying to impact those numbers in a positive manner so that we can give people hope and let them know that a suicide crisis can be survived.
Ozark Center facilities will display the completed canvases. City of Miami, Oklahoma has a new ordinance to deal with an issue of stray cats, dangerous or unwanted dogs, and irresponsible pet owners. City of Miami's animal shelter says the city wants to be proactive before the issues can get out of hand. The shelter manager says a change they're most excited about is the trap, neuter, and release policy that comes with the ordinance. Animal control will set up traps for cats, especially in locations where there are many of them, such as places where people feed them.
Basically what we'll do is we'll set traps the day before our vet appointment is scheduled, and then pick those traps up, get those animals fixed, and return them back to the exact same location that we picked them up from. We're not relocating or doing anything.
That ordinance will take effect in 30 days. Some Carthage students learned about different countries from international students. Columbian Elementary in Carthage and Missouri Southern International students partnered together to help the kindergarten classes learn about culture. 4 students from Chile, Saudi Arabia, Japan, and South Korea spoke about their home country, languages, traditions, music, and more. This week, the school is focusing on teaching kindergartners about the different diversities in our surrounding area.
We've sent home a language survey for kids to fill out to talk about what is the culture like at their household, where are they from. So kids got to learn about that all this week.
The students who are bilingual, who speak Spanish, say they loved hearing from the student from Chile because she spoke the same language. Another student just told us he loves the food, chili. Check in with Doug Head. It's shaping up to be a nice evening, Doug.
Yes, turned out to be a great Friday for us today. We've had some clouds kind of shifting through the region and a few spotty little sprinkles. But besides that, it's actually turned out to be a nice first full day of fall. We did see some showers kind of passing by to our north. Again, we're going to have some clouds as we go through the evening hours. But besides that, we look pretty good. 81 Nevada. On the other end, 88 in Grove, 86 in Parsons. Neosho is sitting at about 85 degrees. Of course, we got high school football tonight. A little bit of cloud interference. Besides that, we look pretty good. Kickoff 81, 75 by the 4th quarter, so it looks like another great evening for Friday night high school football. What about the weekend? We'll look at that here in just a bit.
Catch you then. Dueling speeches today between President Joe Biden and House Republicans highlight stark differences between the two parties heading into the midterm elections. The GOP laid out its policy objectives if they take back the House. Afterward, the president came out swinging against their plan, calling it thin. Meanwhile, former President Trump is making a big financial push to get his candidates over the finish line in November. Reporter Deborah Alfarone has more.
At a political rally in Washington, President Biden laid out what he believes is a stark choice less than 50 days before the midterm elections.
This November, you have to choose to be a nation of hope, unity, and optimism, or a nation of fear, division, and darkness.
Ahead of the president's speech, House Republicans, led by Kevin McCarthy, were in the battleground state of Pennsylvania to unveil their commitment to America. It's a roadmap for GOP legislative priorities with 4 pillars: a strong economy, public safety, individual freedom, and government accountability.
On our very first bill, we're going to repeal 87,000 IRS agents.
In his speech, President Biden slammed the House GOP plan, which he said was, quote, thin with little or no details.
We didn't hear him mention the right to choose. We didn't hear him mention Medicare. We didn't hear him mention Social Security.
McCarthy could be poised to take the Speaker's gavel if Republicans can flip just a few House seats.
I challenge the president to join with us. Let's go across the country and let's debate what his policies has done to America and our plan for a new direction.
Former President Trump has also been pushing for big GOP gains this November and continues to stump for his picks across the country. CBS News has confirmed the former president is also launching a new political action committee, or PAC, to give Trump-endorsed candidates a multi-million-dollar boost heading into the final campaign stretch. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Tonight, former President Trump will headline a political rally for candidates he endorsed in North Carolina. Around the same time, President Biden will host a concert with Sir Elton John at the White House. That concert, called A Night When Hope and History Rhyme, is expected to be televised at a later date. People expected to be in attendance include teachers, frontline workers, and LGBTQ advocates. Voting is underway in Russian-controlled parts of Ukraine on a referendum to annex parts of Ukraine. The U.S. calls it a sham election in order to falsely claim that Ukraine is attacking parts of Russia itself. This comes as Russia is mobilizing 300,000 new soldiers in order to bolster the army's forces. The call-up is not sitting well with many Russians, some of whom are fleeing the country rather than joining the army. Still ahead, a struggle for people with asthma.
It's Asthma Peak Week. I'm Trinity Chavez with what you can do to avoid triggers and stay healthy.
Plus, why COVID hit some people harder than others. Topping today's Health Watch, a new study in Frontiers in Immunology explores why some people with COVID-19 become seriously ill while others do not. Researchers suggest the lucky ones have been exposed to proteins through foods, vaccines, and bacteria in the past, similar to those found in the virus that causes COVID itself. This week, the third week of September, is known as Asthma Peak Week. That's because it's a week where doctors often see the most asthma attacks in the country. Reporter Trinity Chavez has more on what you need to know to stay healthy.
September is the month where doctors see more people with asthma episodes and attacks around the nation. And the third week of the month is known as Asthma Peak Week. Kenneth Mendez is president and CEO of the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America.
It really has to do with kids going back to school. Their colds and respiratory infections, and those can be triggers for asthma. Add to that the fall allergy season. You also have leaf mold, and then wildfires, hurricanes that create mold. And all those things combine to be irritants for your asthma.
In fact, 25% of hospitalizations for kids with asthma generally happen around this time.
Doctors say there are things you can do to avoid asthma triggers. If you have fall allergies to ragweed and mold, keep your window shut.
Make sure that you have healthy indoor air, so clean air. So use a certified asthma and allergy friendly air cleaner inside, because you spend 90% of your time indoors.
Mendez also says it's critical to have an asthma action plan.
It basically has on there what you should do to monitor how you're feeling and how you're breathing, what areas you're falling into, and what you need to do if that happens. So having rescue medication nearby, which is generally known as albuterol, and then knowing when to go to the emergency room.
And he says make sure you get a flu shot this fall to try and stay healthy. Trinity Chavez, CBS News, New York.
The Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America just released the list of the most challenging cities to live in with asthma. Detroit, Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio, and Allentown, Pennsylvania made the top three. A study out of the UK suggests everyone has a personal fat threshold, and exceeding it could make them diabetic. Researchers say that's important because doctors tend to assume diabetes has a different cause for lower weight people. They found dropping 10% of body weight could even help put type 2 diabetes into remission for people who are apparently slim. And smokers who kick the habit and stick to a healthy lifestyle have a 27% lower risk of dying from all causes than former smokers who do the opposite. Researchers at the National Cancer Institute found the greatest benefits came to those who adopted changes like exercising, eating right, and drinking less. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, we're going to check out the rising cost of tailgating.
Plus, it looks like temperatures heating up as we head into the weekend. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a nice Friday for us today. Quite a bit warmer than what we did see on Thursday, but overall, it's turned out to be a great day. We have partly sunny skies right now. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. So check this out. We didn't have the clouds and the showers today. We've warmed up, so most of us are 20 to about 25 degrees warmer right now compared to 5:15 yesterday evening, but still, overall, it feels pretty good. All right, we got four-state Friday night high school football tonight. A little bit of cloud interference. Besides that, we look okay. At kickoff, 81. By the end of game, 75. So fairly comfortable night if you're getting out for some of those high school football games. Now, overall, we need some rain. We got a little bit yesterday. It wasn't a lot, but look at this. The top of the scale, an exceptional drought. Parts of Crawford, Cherokee, back through Labette, Allen County, McDonald County, northern parts of Nowata County, and then in the red, an extreme drought, which does include Pittsburgh and also Joplin. So we do need some rain. Unfortunately, we don't have much rain in the forecast. Temperatures look pretty good. 87 in Anderson, 82 in Fort Scott, 85 in Independence. Pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. Partly cloudy outside, sitting at 85, southerly winds at about 10, humidity is at 37%. We do have some clouds kind of scooting through the region, not much underneath the clouds. We do have a couple little sprinkles once you get south of Yates Center over towards Chanute and also Iola. Besides that, it's pretty quiet. Most of the rain is up across parts of Illinois and also Indiana. And if you look out toward the west, there's not a whole bunch going on. That means our weather is going to be pretty quiet. We are going to be watching this guy. This guy is going to eventually become a strong hurricane, lift north across Cuba, and will make landfall somewhere near Florida by the middle of next week. So that will become a big national story, of course, as that will be the first U.S. landing hurricane of this year. All right, let's go through time. 6 a.m., upper 60s, partly cloudy skies. Partly sunny for us tomorrow. By noon, 84 in Pittsburgh, 85 at Grand Lake, 83 in Lamar. By the afternoon, we do warm into lower 90s across the region. I think most of us 92, 93 for a high, but overall, pretty good day. Partly cloudy skies for us tomorrow night. We get a weak little front that drops through, so a little bit cooler, down into lower 60s for lows. And then Sunday, fairly comfortable, mid-80s. For afternoon high. So here's your day planner. 68 in the morning, 84 by noon, 89 by 5 p.m. I think our high temp is going to be right around 93 as we head into the afternoon hours. But still no rain really in the future. Temperatures pretty good. Let's go to Monday sitting at 84. Tuesday, quite a bit of sunshine as we go back to about 84, 85, 86 degrees. So at least we're not dealing with extreme heat, but it is going to stay warm over the next several days. And we need some rain, and we just don't really have any in the forecast over the next 10 days. Again, we talked about the exceptional drought in southeastern Kansas, so we need this pattern to change for all the farmers and everybody else across the region. Desperately. The ponds are drying up. Got to get some rain. Thanks, Doug. Hurricane Fiona is moving away from Bermuda after pounding the island overnight with strong winds, heavy rains. The powerful Category 3 storm is now headed toward eastern Canada, including Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, where hurricane conditions are expected tonight. In Puerto Rico yesterday, more than half of customers remained without power and a third didn't have water, days after Fiona caused catastrophic flooding and destruction. The devastation led President Biden to say that the full force of the federal government is ready to help. Coming up, the rising cost of tailgating. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Leon Gann served in the U.S. Army. He was stationed in England and in Belgium in 1944. His hometown, Jay, Oklahoma. And we are proud to salute Private Leon Gann
a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Tesla is recalling more than 1 million cars because of defects in their automatic windows that could injure passengers. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the recall affects Model 3 cars from 2017 to 2022, as well as Model S, X, and Y vehicles manufactured over the past few years. Tesla will push a software update to resolve the issue, which makes power windows more responsive to obstructions such as fingers. Mortgage rates rose once again in the latest week. Freddie Mac's mortgage market survey says 30-year fixed-rate mortgages hit 2.29%. That's a 14-year high. A year ago, 30-year mortgages were averaging below 3%. The U.S. housing market is feeling the impact of the Federal Reserve's rate hikes aimed at easing high inflation. The central bank's 0.75 percentage point hike this week was its third recent increase of that size. Fedex unveiled its plans to raise shipping rates starting in early January. It's to counteract a recent dip in demand, causing a decline in the daily number of packages it handles. In its earnings release, the company says it'll raise prices for most of its services by around 7%. It also says it hopes to save more than $1 billion by reducing flights. Football season is well underway, and this year fans are paying top dollar to party in the parking lot. Costs for tailgating essentials have gone up, and so has getting to the game itself. Danya Bach has caught up with some devoted Rams fans in Los Angeles.
Whose house? Rams house! Whose house? Rams house!
Freddie Giannis has been tailgating at Rams games since the team's triumphant return to Los Angeles in 2016. His booster club brings the potluck to the parking lot.
Potato salad, salads, carne asada, hot links, hamburgers, tacos, name it, ribs, whatever it is they bring.
But this year, inflation is intercepting his wallet.
Say if I was spending $60, now it's like $120, pretty much.
A recent report from Wells Fargo found tailgating costs are up, from beer to brats, even propane to fire up the grill.
Certain proteins like chicken and beef up pretty substantially, snack-like items, buns, pickles, all kinds of stuff like that you need for game day.
Getting there costs more too. Gas is about 50 cents more a gallon compared to last year. And flights up a whopping 34%.
Rising prices don't necessarily have to sack all the fun. There are ways to save on game day.
Take the subway, take the bus if you can, rather than driving or flying.
Take a look at your food spread and try substituting less expensive items, like pork ribs, up only 2.3%, or fresh vegetables, up 7.6%. And of course, you can always armchair quarterback.
TV prices are actually down relative to a year ago.
Giannis and his club all pitch in.
We waited years for the Rams to come back home, and every cent is well worth it.
And they have enough passion to go around. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Experts say the most expensive thing at the game is still probably the tickets themselves. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a look at the mental health crisis among American teenagers. Then on KOAM News at 6, Parsons police investigate the shootings of 2 more dogs and possible similarities to 4 previous attacks on dogs. Plus, court rulings on whether voters in Oklahoma and Arkansas will be able to vote on proposals to legalize marijuana in November. And we're going to talk live with the Parsons head high school football coach. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. For those of you who are planning to go out to your local high school football game tonight, you can expect some relatively nice weather.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. We're going to be dropping back through the 80s into the 70s, eventually down to about 68 degrees, 93 tomorrow. So it does heat up a little bit. Then we get a cold front tomorrow night or a cool front. So Sunday looks great at 85, at 81 on Monday. Look at the overnight lows down into the 50s. A little more fallish, still above normal for this time of the year, but at least we're heading in the right direction. Now we just need to get some rain.
We need it desperately. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. We'll be right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.